I rather see it as a mark of intelligence. Or lack thereof.
Well, it's not always appreciated, and, well, it's often misunderstood.
Where would you like to go to speak?
As I said, your place or mine.
I haven't seen yours. Why don't we go there?
All right. Well, I will say it's a bit of a walk, though there are ways to get around that. Have you been to the Southern Islands yet, specifically the Broken Caravan?
Yesterday for the first time, yes.
All right, well, then it won't be too much of a walk from there.
All right.
And, well, you can bring your zebra along. It's...
Oh, he's fine.
I'm sure they'll be able to follow you.
He's fine. You can... Well, let me...
I'm sure he'll be able to find his way back home.
Indeed he will. Just gonna have him take this house cat I purchased.
Of course.
Yes.
So you're a fan of cats, then?
Yes, yes I am. But...
I should have guessed from the menagerie you keep.
Well, it's not only cats, but they are the project at the moment, and this small feline caught my attention. It's quite the juxtaposition to the ones I'm raising at the castle.
Oh, they're small and cute. It's
Oh, one moment.
entirely understandable. Huh?
Knock my heater down. Oh, Cinder, I'm sorry. Apologies.
No worries. I don't have much on my plate today anyway.
Can't wait for you to get back to Wild RP. I don't really have a lot going on there right now, Boogie. Thanks. Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm trying not to go too overboard with accessories, so that just means I gotta make a lot of different outfits that contain the accessories I find in, like... What do you think of my new battle dress, so to speak?
Well, it's... as just about anything on you, quite attractive.
I do try.
I mean, it feels something more for the commander of an army to catch their attention and make sure that, well, the arrows are let loose at you, but...
I assure you, if I require something stealthier than battling beasts, I will not let my vanity endanger myself.
It doesn't have horses?
Of course.
Horses! Horses!
As I said, the broken
horses.
caravan.
You're back again. May the wind guide you where you all.
Now, I know you've voiced your distaste for the teleportation stones before, but we have the short way, or we have the way where we have to run through a few camps of pirates.
That's fine. I came here via the stones yesterday. It just makes me ill for some time.
Yes, I apologize, but I don't have any dancers or incense at my place.
Unfortunate.
This is a short trip, so it shouldn't be too bad. Let's see. Ziggurat Hill is where we're going.
An unwise decision. I'm very intrigued. It wasn't as bad as it usually was. Is that because it's a shorter journey?
Yes, the shorter a trip, the less painful it tends to be. I try to only take the shortest ones, but It's not as though it's going to have too much of an effect on me.
I see.
But welcome to Ziggurat Botany.
Oh, these are the golden cats that you spoke of.
Yes, plenty of those. And, well, it's not much, but
And you question my, my liking for cats.
well, it's sort of a matter of proximity more than anything.
I must say I'm surprised considering your distaste for decatins.
Well, as I said, a matter of convenience, proximity, and, well, I can appreciate art and separate it from the people who create it.
That's fair.
Oh, to be honest, I do feel this display is rather fitting of my current situation. All eyes on a single man.
I was about to say, it seems to be no consequence or coincidence that he's garbed in purple as are you.
Well, this is a Lemurian statue, specifically from an era where sorcery was, well, far more prevalent, more revered, more appreciated.
Buggy, thank you for the sub.
But possibly not more understood. There's always going to be the ones who think they know a lot about certain things and elevate it simply because they think someone who knows of it is going to be better. But
Well, I confess I know very little of it, but I also do not wish to. There are some things that, although you were familiar with my curiosity, I know just enough of to know that I'd rather not know. If that makes sense.
then perhaps, you know what? You already know, so I'll just advise you not to look to the back of the temple.
I see.
I haven't used it for some time, but it's heavy and it's very difficult to actually remove. I'll be right back so I don't have to... You won't be forced to actually look on it.
Very well. I'll wait here. Yeah, Joey. Not a fan.
Just a few, well, not quite chairs, but
I see.
it's not the grand palatial furnishings that I'm sure you've grown accustomed to, but it's better than nothing.
I remind you that I'm often running about in the wild, Sark.
Yes, I know, but can you blame me for offering a golden statue a proper throne?
I appreciate it, but the pillow is fine. This is not good.
Don't worry. Yes. Well,
Fix this.
Sir Garland, the designs of the North to rid the world of another sorcerer, another person they see as the cause of all their woes.
And you think that is you?
Well, possibly me, possibly Xander, possibly any number of other people who have expressed interest in the outer dark. Or simply people who are leaders, warmongers. They're just looking for something to blame, something to...
If I'm being honest, I believe that that will be Xander. Well, I know you have your struggles recently, but I think Xander welcomes it.
Yes, well, as I said, I honestly can't say that I don't as well. I'm
Yes,
just
but
worried that
you were content to burn up into nothingness. Xander, no, it stokes his flame. It makes him burn brighter and hotter. It puts him in danger of consuming everything around him.
yes, and well, that does include you as well, doesn't it?
Him and I have no contention.
And that's, well, pardon my assumptions, but, well, I believe that's the pot calling the kettle black at this point then, don't you think? You're content to burn with a bright candle, such as Xander, and I'm content to be, well, much the same.
I think I'm more than capable of standing at the edge of the fire without stepping into it, is what I mean.
Yes, but then what happens when that fire burns out and they look for more fuel? They look for the closest thing. It was right there. Whether it's you, whether it's Javul, whether it's Gandor, whether it's the pirates who simply sit across the valley from him.
But
Where their eyes turn next.
But that's my point, isn't it, Sark? The warring doesn't stop, it's just the people who it's between. It's going to come to your doorstep one way or the other. No matter what you do, you might as well be prepared. Am I wrong?
Perhaps at this point we're arguing
I'm not trying to
the
argue.
same point. No, we're arguing the same point. We're both going about it in different ways, but drawing ire to ourselves through, well, associations, through whatever it might be. The reasoning might be different. For me, it's, well, I think it's a sense of guilt. Everything I've done in my past. For you, it's a point of pride to be standing strong and on your own. Or at least standing in the place you wish to be standing, rather than where you've been told to stand.
I suppose you're right.
I can't blame you for anything like that. I have my own pride. It's why I'm no longer welcome in Old Maroon. I do not care for Decatans, and they can't seem to fathom that someone would simply not like them for who they are. Whereas I'm used to that. I've grown accustomed to that my entire life, so I can stand proud and, well, hold to what principles that I have, even if others don't understand them.
I suppose it is just me being selfish. I've grown to enjoy your company and your words of wisdom. And I'd hate to have a friend taken away.
Well, you flatter me.
No, I simply speak the truth.
Were there only as many people as reasonable as you? Though I will say that you're not the first person I've had this, well, almost exact same conversation with today.
Well, then it is not everyone who is against you, is it?
No, not everyone. Granny, of course, is always going to be, well, Granny. She cares for everyone. She wants everyone to get along. I appreciate her. It's not naivete, her optimism. And then, well, there are other people in this land who are misunderstood in their intentions, in their presentations, in their studies. And, well, one of them is the man called Kinrin.
I do not believe I've met him.
Well, how do I put this? If you do meet him, you will certainly know that he has earned the title of the beautiful sorcerer. Or handsome sorcerer, depending on who you are asking.
I see.
Though I do think that he's attempting to get away from the second part of that epithet. At least on the surface presentation. He is, well, an herbalist, an alchemist, and that's what he wishes to be known as, and I wish to be known as a botanist. So, in the meeting that Granny was so kind to arrange between us, that's all we are. At least to each other.
Plague Guy, thank you so much for the raid. I see. As for Xander, though, do you think it's possible? Because he believes it's true that he can make a show of force that will cause these complainers and hostile parties to leave him alone.
And of course, he's... Whose counsel is he seeking? I'm not going to say I'm insulted, because I am, well, not necessarily in as close as you are, but I would assume that he at least tried to inform me of any of his plans, just so I might poke a hole in them.
He has not spoken of specifics. It is more general than that. Statements such as, if they bring it to my doorstep, I will conquer them if needed. Words such as perhaps Korgoth wasn't so wrong after all. I do not know much of Korgoth, so I cannot disseminate this too well.
Yes, well, from what I know, this... well... I wish I could say I wasn't surprised, but...
I believe that Xander respects your counsel, however. I don't think that he would decline the opportunity to speak with you. But again, perhaps it's best if it does not seem like your counsel comes on my behalf. Not that there's anything...
If you can get him to believe that it was his idea, then, well, maybe that's for the best.
I do not know if I'm capable of manipulating him like that.
Well, if he does strike up the same conversation with you again, simply ask who he feels should know. Obviously, if you're going to be striking out against an entire landmass, you have to have allies. And
I do not
simply.
I do not think he plans anything of the kind, or if he does, he hasn't spoken to me about it.
As I said, whatever his designs are, the next time it comes up, just gently guide him with your questions.
Computer, bedroom off. I can do my best, I suppose. Yes, guys, I heard the news.
The gift, but I do try and encourage it in people occasionally. Can't be the only person going around playing chess. It's a little boring that way.
I never
It does
cared
have
too
horses?
Horses!
much for chess.
Horses! Look at all the horses.
Thanks for the sub.
Well,
That's so
to
loud.
each their own. But I do feel you might have a bit of a spark for it. At least better than most of those up north.
I'm far better at focusing on one piece at a time rather than having to worry about what every single one of them is doing.
That's a talent in and of itself.
Yes, but then you get taken out by the bishop.
Well, that may be true. Or you simply think yourself too clever and are taken out by a pawn instead. I believe that's what happened to me, but, well, the only way to continue forward is to learn from that mistake and play again, yes?
So long as you continue to play.
Yes. Well, perhaps it wasn't a pawn, perhaps it was a knight. I'm not too sure at this point, but the analogy is there. I just need to work on it a little bit.
Funny how analogies can help us understand our own situation.
It often helps to simplify things, though that can also lead to oversimplifying things.
I suppose.
Or overcomplicating them. It's a very delicate balance sometimes. But that's how life is.
So with your issues with Xavier and Garland's people, have they made any more direct threats or shown the desire to make good on them?
Not in the south. Even they realize that if they killed me out in the middle of the desert, it would be simple murder at that point rather than making good on a threat on their homeland.
Did you make a threat on their homeland?
No, they simply imagined it.
I see.
But there's enough of them that they could convince themselves that that was the case.
Well, then perhaps simply staying out of the north is the wisest course of action.
Yes, for now. And I have my ways to go and visit Granny. Her place is technically in the north, but she is sovereign in her own area. And I believe enough of them respect her that, you know, should I be on her lands, I'm not going to be in any danger.
Very well.
But aside from standing by Xander, what are your designs?
Can you be more specific with what you mean?
Well, I mean, you can't just be content sitting there and, well, I suppose you could be content with just playing with your cats all day, raising them and preparing them for whatever conflict comes your way. But is there anything outside of that? Anything you want to see, want to do, want to build, want to create?
Well, Xander has spoken of transforming the castle into merely an arena and moving our quarters somewhere else. Right now, I don't really have any particular quarters of my own. So the opportunity to build something is exciting.
Yes, but you're still tying yourself to Xander.
What
I'm
else
talking
would
about
I
you.
do?
That's
I don't know these lands. I don't have any aspirations. I left all that behind.
so I suppose your current aspiration would be to find one.
I suppose, but you understand it is exactly as if I've exchanged one life for another.
Yes, but sometimes exchanging that life is going to be difficult. It's going to be casting aside all of the ease, the convenience, the security of knowing what you knew, and just restarting. And I can appreciate that having a crutch, having something to rely upon is a good thing. I'm not saying
I
it's
don't wish
not.
to have to rely on others. Because when you lose them, you're left completely broken.
And, well, my apologies. I guess I'm just not asking these questions the right way then.
If you're speaking of
think of-
Xander, I hardly have other options right now. I'm still ignorant of so many things here. I have a tether.
Yes. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It is something for you to lean on, but if you rely on it too much, it can end up being what ties you down rather than props you up. I'm not saying that this is a bad situation for you. I'm simply asking if you've thought about what the next step would be for you is. If you haven't gotten that far, it takes time.
No, I haven't, and I fear I wouldn't be able to ascertain something for quite some time. Because I hardly know anyone.
I can't blame you. If at some point you wish to go out and find new people to speak with, well, I could offer a few places outside of the north, quite obviously, but
I mean, I wouldn't be averse to broadening my horizons. But I also do not feel the need to change suddenly, you know?
of course not. I'm simply saying that the offer stands. If you find yourself wanting to go out and explore, I will happily stand by your side.
I do find myself wishing I could determine some longer-term project, but
Well, for now, one step at a time.
sorry for my shifting around. This plate armor is stiff and taking some time getting used to, I suppose.
Well, that's why I tend to stick to silks and things like that. It's a lot easier to move around.
Indeed. But for some of the things that Xander was wanting to do, slaying leviathans and the like, I figured more protection was warranted. Hey, stop it, you dogs.
Entirely understandable.
And we fought some of the pirates here on this isle. And some undead. And I struggled quite a bit. So I'm trying to make myself better.
I'm sorry, I had something in my ear. I apologize. I didn't quite get what you said.
Sorry, I was saying that Xander and I were here on the island last night. Even just fighting some of the pirates here and dealing with even the snakes. I was just struggling. So I'm trying to make myself better. We're on the South Island.
Course. Well, equipment is trivial. Just
We're here.
is the only place I know of to get the highest quality gears. So dealing with Magnus is, well, what I would suggest. But if you're looking for more opportunities to go out and try new things, I can offer what pointers I can.
Like I said, I'm not above receiving instruction. Lemming, thank you for the sub. This is Conan.
Well, if you'll give me a moment to process a thing or two, I'd happily lead you around the island and, well, show you how I deal with my neighbors.
Very well. Take your time. Whoop. Did not mean to run at him. Yes. Yes. I didn't intend to be in this outfit, but I was in a fairly public place, started messing with my outfits, and then he ran up on me, so I've been stuck in it. But it's a cool one. At least it's one that's finished. Pretty happy with it. Well, maybe there's some clipping going on with the sandals I might need to fix. Gives a whole different vibe to plate armor. What I really wish is that the plate part, like the plates, were a separate piece that I could put over whatever I wanted. That's what I really wish. I think it'd be really cool. Unfortunately, it moves funny with a lot of the emotes. Man, I'm so nasal and tinny, and that's because my...
Alright, well, let's see.
Like
What
this
is your
cold.
weapon of choice?
I use these.
Daggers. Not necessarily my forte, but, well.
I'm
it's
not
in
that
a similar
sick. Sorry, what was that?
It's in a similar realm. I'm a little bit more skill than brute strength.
Yes, I originally intended to use a bow quite a bit more, but arrows are such a pain to deal with. I've rather forsaken it.
Well, it's a shame. It's quite a useful skill.
Indeed, I'm not terrible with it. but arrows are, again, difficult to obtain.
Well, it's a good thing that that is, in fact, my forte. I don't craft much, but arrows are one of the things that I do. Right, a few orbs, of course.
Huh, something from home. Stygian liquor.
Stygian liquor. To be honest, most liquors don't really do much for me anymore, but there's something about this grog from the jungle that just
Is that
helps me
so?
loosen up. Yes, it's a flavor that I actually appreciate. Secondary effects are, well, it's about the only thing alcoholic that actually helps me relax.
Reminds you of Rachel Weisz's battle dress? I don't even remember seeing something like that. Ow! It's gonna be a fun adventure when you're talking about thralls. I'm assuming Io kind of understands that stuff. I don't think we even have a wheel, though. What?
Well, as far as I know with daggers, they tend to be less on the direct, powerful side, more on the damage people pile on things such as bleeding and poison, yes?
I suppose something like that. It is just what, well, it's what Xander gave me when I first arrived here, so it's what I've been using.
Would you like to try something else?
What would you suggest?
Well, if you're being agile, would you prefer something, well, a little bit more noble, or would you like to try something exotic from the east?
I honestly don't know if I have a preference.
Well, try this on for size.
It doesn't have horses?
Horses!
Where are those?
Horses! Look at all the horses!
It's just so large and unwieldy in comparison.
Yes, but it still covers a wider area. It still allows you to bleed people, and it's not going to do you so well against a lot of more heavily armored targets, but against those who aren't, it might have a different effect. Give it a few swings. See if you like the kick on it as well.
It's hard to say just because I am by no means a trained fighter or knowledgeable about such things, you understand?
Yes, I'm guessing it's a little tiring to actually swing, isn't it?
It is about the same, if I'm being honest.
Well, you don't always have to go through with full combinations. Sometimes just take a little bit of time between each swing, allow yourself to reset.
That's what I tend to do with my daggers, is I dash in, I cut, and then I flee. and I simply repeat.
Yes. Well, that's what you're going to have with a lot of different things. It's a rhythm, a dance to it, if you will. Sometimes it's just a matter of you have to get used to it.
Perhaps.
Now, as for actually dealing with larger groups, sometimes you just have to pick your battles. The best way to not fall down is to not get hit in the first place, and if you can see where your enemies are and draw them towards you or to where you'd rather them be, it's going to be a lot
thank you
simpler
so much
than
for the
just
30
charging
months.
into the middle of a camp, being swarmed by a half dozen.
Oh yes,
swinging blades and
I do my best to pick my battles and stick to the edges. Though I was beset upon by 5 or 6 cannibals in the valley outside Maroon. They were a struggle to fight off, but I managed. Did not realize the bow would have such range.
yes, as long as you can see them, you should be able to strike them. Now, there is some difficulty over longer distances. Wind catches them, the arrow slows them down, but you get your range just right. You can fell almost anything in very few blows.
I wonder how the pirates that Xander is allying with would feel about us taking out these ones. Or if they would even
They
care.
understand the differences between their methods and these. I wouldn't expect them to be too keen on other people taking the treasures that they intended on taking in the first place.